Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my favorite reads of 2022, my favorite video of the year. This is the video to tell you the best of what I've read in 2022. Not necessarily new releases. In fact, only a few are, but these are the best ones I read this year. And I always split my list into two groups. My top horror reads, which is my most read genre, and all the other genres. I usually have more favorite horror reads than all the other genres. So that's how it works out. I'm doing a top 10, but really it's a top 5 horror and a top 5 other. And my other list is pretty diverse. There's one thriller, two fantasy, one historical fiction, and one science fiction this year. But let's start with the horror reads. My fifth favorite horror book of the year was Cold Moon Over Babylon by Michael McDowell. So glad I finally decided to read Michael McDowell. I've been hearing great things forever. Finally picked up two of his books, and both of them are on my top 5 of the year. This one is a ghost story with also human monsters as well, and it's about a small town, rural, outside of a small town in the south, living by swampy river. Just all the vibes, plus spooky and dastardly deeds. I mean, what else could you ask for? And speaking of Michael McDowell, my fourth favorite read was The Elementals. And I don't know why this one really stuck with me so much. More than Cold Moon Over Babylon. Maybe because this was the first one from the author that I read and it holds a special place. Not sure. But what I think it is the family members, the characters, so unique and fascinating. The houses seem like characters all on their own, and the setting, the sand in around this house on the beach, is a character all to itself as well. And maybe that's what I loved so much. So much atmosphere in this book. My third favorite horror novel is The Green Mile by Stephen King. This is my favorite Stephen King book so far. Love this story. Taking place on death row, and it's historical. I believe it takes place in the 1920s. Nope, 1932. But there's fantastic characters in this, with the inmates as well as the guards, and even the mouse that runs around the block is unforgettable. A lot of magic, some really horrible moments, but mostly I came away from reading this book with a really good feeling. And my two favorite horror novels for this year are both new releases from 2022. My second favorite is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. I've heard differing opinions on this book. Some people love it, some people hate it. I fall on the love. Obviously, it's my second favorite read of the year. And this one follows a woman who has to come back to her childhood home that she has avoided for quite some time because her mother is dying. And there's a very complicated relationship between her and her mother that is very obvious right from the start. There is a lot of complicated family dynamics with all of them, the mother, daughter, and father, that are next level, really. And there's also this strange man at the house when she gets there that is interviewing the mom about the house and if it might be haunted. And a lot of strange things are happening in the house. This book was the most surprising of the year. There was a whole lot of turns in the plot, twists that I did not see coming. It was just completely surprising, and whatever I tell you about the story, like, that's not it. It is a lot more than what you can say without spoiling, really. Just love it. And then my favorite horror read of 2022 was The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Igesias. This one I knew was probably going to be my favorite because every sentence was just like a pleasure to read. I don't know. His use of metaphors and figurative language in general was, it just had me captivated, really. Plus, this story was what I would call unputdownable. And he had me hooked right from the start by getting me in the heart with a sick daughter that he has to try to pay for her treatment. And then things quickly go off the rails and become just wild. This is, some say a thriller, I say horror, because there are horror elements and supernatural elements along with the thriller elements. And it is the best read of the year. But I got 5 more to talk about in the other genres. My 5th favorite from other genres is a thriller, and that would be Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. About 2 fathers whose sons were together, a couple, and they are both murdered, and they were not very accepting when their sons were alive, and now they realize how important their sons really were to them. They have a mission to find out who killed their sons and get payback. 4th favorite was Seraphinas Lament by Sarah Chorn. I won this in a giveaway from Steve Talks Books, and I'm so glad that I got to read this. This is a self-published fantasy novel, first in a new series, and it's one that I will never forget. third favorite is a historical fiction. I just finished this recently, the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. And this follows a family who moves to the Congo from Georgia because the father is a missionary, a pastor, in the 50s and 60s, when the Congo was colonized. And it was really fascinating to hear about this area at this time and what things were like with colonization, with people coming in that they'd rather not be there, and just how unprepared this family really was going to this new place. They had no idea what they would really need or not need, and they could only bring what they could fit into small luggage for the plane. And this book was told in multiple points of view, from the daughters in the family and the wife's perspective of this new life that they're living and where they all end up. And it's just very, very well crafted and written, well written. Number 2 is actually 2 fantasy books in the same series. That's The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart by Brian Lee Durfee. A new author for me this year. And this is a grimdark series, an epic grimdark trilogy. And I've read the first 2. It's amazing. Characters and adventures. What else can you possibly need? Plus, a really great animal companion. And my favorite book that I read from other genres other than horror is a science fiction, and that is Bloodchild and Other Stories by Octavia E. Butler. I love Octavia E. Butler's writing and her ideas, and the short stories I love just as much as her novels. She can do no wrong in my eyes. Yeah, this was my favorite read I finished in 2022. My favorite story is the main story, Bloodchild, which is a story about as a weird not codependent, but symbiotic relationship between humans and a species of aliens. And those are my favorite books from 2022. I am looking forward to finding out what the best books of 2023 are going to be. I can't wait. Can't wait to find out. Let me know what your favorite book of the year is, and I will be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks. Bye.